Well, hello everybody. I'm on my way back to Edmonton. I got fired from my job. The super believed I was trying to take over his job, and as I went to the client to get safety gear, safety items we needed on the job, the average mean age of the welders on the job, a huge welding job, was probably 55, and it was pretty pathetic. Standard things you need in our trade we couldn't even get, and they blamed the client. Of course, I've been around many years. I know it's the contractor's responsibility. What's funny about this live I'm going to do as people log on is I'm getting massive from the UK Labour Party, a bunch of lawyers in that party. And I'm from Edmonton, Alberta, and they've given me a tremendous volume of emails and gifts on everything in maritime law I'm working on, which is very important for transporting your natural resources out of the country and working interprovincially. UK is a unitary state now. They've expanded their system to make it a federalism of countries, of UN states, five UN states. They've abolished all ideas of provinces a very long time ago. And so I'm getting swaths of labor law in the UK history, hundreds of years old, all the way through developing labor relations. Everything Canada's adopted. For those who don't know and don't ever listen to a Canadian lawyer about any of this, regardless of their specialty, because it's just not true. The Canadian constitutional acts, our introduction to our country, clearly tells you in the preliminary, it's a preamble, like every other country in the world's constitution. It says we will model this country after the UK's design. So literally, they do A, we do B, they do A, we do B. And it's like, and you can follow it. They show me. And I've never looked into that stuff. I've never deep delved. And as we build the party of the Canadian Constitutionalists, it's very important I learn every crown position, folks. And that's what this video is. What UK is, where Freemasonry comes from, what it's heavy into. And yes, it's a thousands of years old system. And yes, it's of royal lineage, right? The royal family hierarchy system. I've got loads of papers from the Labour Party of UK, and these are all doctorates of law in their party, and they're sharing this stuff with me, and I'm going through it. It's incredible. Lots of research papers and publications in UK faculties of law. And yes, the history of Edmonton, London, it's internal London borough, so people don't understand it's a part of London. It's like it was a small town hundreds of years ago called Edmonton, but now it's part of London. It's just another district of London, okay? It's literally from the center of London. It's 6 minutes away by bus or their subway or transit. So I'm going through all that, all the pyramid schemes from many scholars, and that's what they are. The Beehive, literally where middle class comes from, Canada's version of it. Why you should be definitely afraid of owning nothing and being happy, because the history of UK, if you owned no property, you had no vote. You had no vote. Reform Act of 1832, I went through all that, papers and research on that, reforms in the 1840s, and into building the middle class through the Industrial Revolution and the confidence of people to fight back. And this is our second class in our design, folks. So there's a lot. And yes, Freemasonry's in there, and yes, the hierarchy right up to the top, right to the royal family being the head of it. And of course, we can look at the United States presidents and all of that. Is it a bad system? Yeah. because it's a buddy-buddy system, and I just got off a job with that kind of bullshit where a Freemason who doesn't even know the job he's doing, it's his trade. I'm a welder, 25 years. In fact, the company, which is really good, it's a very great company. I've had many great years at that company, but it's all about who's running the job and who isn't. And this is the problem with pyramid schemes, Freemasonry, is the corruption. You get people who are incompetent. This guy, a full-blown alcoholic, sat on his fat ass for literally a month before we even got there, did nothing to plan the job appropriately, and then blame it on the client and get to work. I don't care about you or any of you. Like, we had one welder, and of course he's a pipe fitter welder, 65 years old, two what they're called permit welders through my union, right? And they can't say no, they got accepted. One man's very large, excellent welding skills, both of them just as competent as me. I went through it with them. You know, you watch, because it's my union, see how they weld. Completely competent welders, very good in harsh conditions. And I know folks don't understand trades out there, a lot of my friends and followers, but you know, it's not good. Ergonomics, it's called. It's not good on a 550 degree heated, constantly wrapped coils, giant thick valve, 2.5 inches thick. It's got an offshoot of piping that we gotta lie on, and half of that is right up to temperature, half not. But folks, if I asked you for 12 hours of your day to lay on your side because of the height of this, in that heat and that condition, and that metal jabbing into your body, it's going to break you down. Never mind that the mean age of the crew is 55 years old. I'm one of the younger ones on the crew, and my body couldn't take it after one day. And I had other welders on the day shift looking to me, and of course they messaged me today and said, you know, hey Dave, like, I'm all fucked up from one day of welding. And that was a young guy in his late 20s, right? Of course, super bullying me that none of the other welders have a problem. Well, of course, they're permits. They don't even have a job steward because we're Boilermakers backfilling on a pipe fitter job, right? Not enough numbers to even get a job steward. No job steward on the night shift, a pipe fitter job steward on days. We didn't even get the same allocated camp rooms. They get individual bathrooms. In Alberta, it's illegal to share bathrooms now, but they throw us in that old camp system, and to hell with you, your Boilermakers. To put it in perspective, metal wire brushes, $2 items at work, you get those easily. It's a welder's tool, and these are deep joints, hot, corded grinders don't work. We don't need them anyway. We have our welding set to the point the slag peels off, so you just kind of ping it, and you quickly wire brush it without getting your hand in there to burn it, right? 550 degrees, folks. Think of your ovens at home, ladies. You know what I mean? Baking something at 400 degrees. We're at 550 degrees. So planning has to be put in the job. You don't place human bodies on that kind of stuff without protections in place. We call them pillows, insulated, locked in with fire blanket because of the particles, and the dust gets all over your body. Not good for you, highly toxic. Well-known stuff in our trade. Backboards to support guys' heads so you're not putting your elbows into expanded metal, which will wreck your joints inside of a few days. Think laying with all your weight on expanded metal, trying to use your elbow to hold your head up to weld in place. Pretty pathetic, just abusive, horrific conditions. Talk to the client, Syncrude, no problem. We'll get you all those things, even though they had us treated like that for days and being bullied into more. Then they wanted to strip half the job to put in place to fix the other one, but at a half condition, nowhere near what was needed. And backboard, standard practice in our trade. Nobody has a problem with that. The client didn't even have a problem with it. But of course, the superintendent and the supervisor for the pipe fitters did, right? How dare you? Because they lied to us. They told us, lied to me and the crew anyway, that, we asked the client and they said, no. I didn't believe them. I talked to Syncrude Safety when we did our morning talk. I talked to the coordinator, no problem. We sat down, our whole crew of welders, privately with the Syncrude Safety, and of course, everything we were told was a lie. And then, of course, now I've embarrassed the super and the pipe fitter foreman. And of course, one's a tour of the United States, the other one's from Ontario. So you know how it's going to go, right? So I was skidded out, but it's just funny. I'm going through all this UK labor law, and I should sue that hall, really. They've done horrific damage to me since 2007. All over and through their Freemasonry rings, and they think it's funny, I guess, to harass a guy on the job site. I mean, a bunch of us got harassed there by pipe fitters, got that shut down at one point, but it was just daily abuse, and I've been going through it since 2007, and you know, these UK lawyers are showing me how I can sue right here in Canada, and you know, they want me to come visit in London, Edmonton. It's a district of London. It used to be a small town. But, you know, I don't know. It's I got so much going on with wet sweating right now. I'm definitely don't want to get cheated out of pay. They're working straight through on 12s. I've lost already thousands of dollars. This weekend is thousands of dollars for me gone. And into next week, thousands of dollars. So, you know, till I get working, like I'm cheated out of my pay. Not for my inability to do the work. I'm a terrific welder, top-notch, highest percentile, any process. I've been at it 25 years. The same company, I was their welding trainer in Cambridge at their head office. 6 months trained all their nuclear welders, and it's a high standard of excellence, even higher than Alberta's ABSA. It's nuclear, so for me to be training welders and going through all of their ITPs and going through all of the nuclear codes and procedures, I mean, that says a lot right there. So I mean, no problem. I had no problem doing the job. I had a problem with the human body and human condition in horrific conditions that was easily solved, folks. Easily solved with detailed planning, which these folks were there sitting on their fat ass for literally almost a month. The super was there a month prior to us getting there, and then trying to ram us through the job without any protections in place for the welders. And of course, you won't get welders. That's why you can't get any welders through the pipe fitters, because everybody knows he's a piece of shit. But he wears a ring, he's a Freemason, and they keep him around. They keep him circulating, right? And everybody's to suffer, right? The company's to suffer. And you know why it's bad? Like, I'm a business graduate too. Why it's bad is when you get the head of the company and the pyramid scheme of Freemasonry, when you get them in place and they're not competent to do their job, they don't do their job, they destroy the company, really, right? Because we're in a highly competitive industry. If you can't retain skilled workforce, or you can't complete your jobs on time, or there's always issues, people are getting hurt, they replace you. And it's a great company. It's just they had a piece of shit running a job. And it's hard in the building trades because, like, we're Boilermakers, we left the building trades. We run on our own merit and our own skill set. Our guys are highly trained. They do supervisory courses. You get the oddball here and there, but in a large part, the jobs are well planned. But when you get multiple trades, and they have a large trade scope, they can actually destroy the company and their bullshit and their ignorance. Like, there was a pile of lazy ass guys sitting in the lunchroom while they get a small group of Boilermakers working outside of their trade. And we're contracted to do welding. In fact, they said Boilermaker welding, but it was not of any of that. Then they got us rigging and fitting without any of the tools in place. Very dangerous. At one point, Syncrude almost fired us. And not our fault, right? being thrown into a job that wasn't set up by us, wasn't utilized by us, and we're there. Get her done, get in there. And then, of course, there's all kinds of infractions. I mean, Syncrude, to their credit, protected us, met the safety guy that we've heard all kinds of bad things about. And of course, it was all a lie. And who was lying? Our contractor, our supervision. And again, way outside my trade. And sadly, the permits that are there can't speak out. Those poor old rig welders. The first day, the one rig welder, highly skilled, he's like, my knees, Dave, my knees. And, not feeling well. They didn't have the respiratory protective equipment for the guys. And, they just got to go along. And it's sad. I'm going to go to my union and bring both their names forward and let them know these are hell of good welders and they deserve a shot and whatever goes with this job. This is a piece of shit Masonics whiskey drinking superintendent who didn't give a shit, and some floating American pipe fitter who don't give a shit either, right? Tell you everything but the truth, and it's sad. And I'm going to look real hard at this lawsuit against the pipe fitters and what they did to me internationally across Canada when it's provincial labour law. And the UK filled me in on that. These are doctorate lawyers in the UK Labour Party. I'm not saying they're Labour lawyers per se. They're doctorates of law in the Labour Party of the UK. They're teaching me quite a bit. I just don't know how much time I have. I definitely want to get to the Wet'suwet'en now. I personally got invited by the chief. So I do want to do that. There is other issues with settlements people brought up. And yes, possibly we're burnt by that, and it's heartbreaking. I know our residential school genocide team, we don't make that public for Canadians or First Peoples, but I had a team of all First Peoples working on residential school genocide and teaching chiefs how to report to the UNSC, and it was very successful. We had chiefs do that. And of course, Justin Trudeau, Liberal Party of Canada, pushing through those settlements on all those chiefs we had success with. So it's too early to tell. I'm reading a lot of it. But yes, there's millions and millions of dollars, billions in fact, but when you look at how many years and how many people were talking about it, it's just a drop in the bucket. When you look at cities and municipalities funding of grants to operate, it's not even close to the same, but I get it. It's what you can get. And I've read the content so far, and it looks like agriculture, so I don't see any genocide settlement, and I hope that's not the case. I hope they've stayed the course, but I hope it doesn't mean that they're going to give up on the children, right? I just don't know. I'm going to do another Facebook Live with Jeffrey, Jeremy, and Freedom folks. We're going to do that with New Brunswick. I just need rest. I just did a number of 12-hour shifts, a night shift, pretty harsh conditions. I'm a little bit tired and wore out, and I'm just driving back. I got to flip and adjust, and I got to get another job, right? I need to make a lot of money here in the season, and that's what it's all about. Definitely going to file a grievance, and it's interesting. I don't know a lot about the labor, right, folks? But I do know the pyramid scheme of the Crown. And it's interesting going through Freemasonry too, by doctorates of law and the UK Labour Party. I want to learn it all. It's just there's time, right? It's so much volume of information. I want it. I really gravitate to it. I enjoy it. But it's just how much is this going to be able to hold, right, for everything? And how much until you're overwhelmed? When I look at my friend Richard Albert, he's a genius. He's doing Jamaica. He's got another platform now throughout the Spanish world. He's just growing, and I want to grow with him too. So I've got to be tough, and I've just got to bite the bullet and get through it all. And we got to get this party done. Because I promise you all, Party of the Canadian Constitutionalists, PCC, will fix for everybody. And that's where it is. Because we've got to end the corruption. You can't end things inside the corrupted system. You just can't, folks. We've got to break it and beat it. And yes, I got to learn how the little people I've gone through the history of UK. Yes, I have to learn the left side of things too. I can't just focus on economics and conservatism. I have to look at that left side. So understand, everybody, it's a journey, and I have to listen to everybody, and I have to go through it all. So if people start thinking that, oh, look, he's looking at all this leftist shit, oh, look at him, it's like, I have to know it all entirely, or we can't give you, the people, a well-balanced, well-looked after presentation. You need to know all of it. I need to understand it. If you're going to lead something, you better have a firm grasp on all the historical ministries, all the crown appointed positions. You better know it inside and out, and that's the journey I'm on. You know, it's getting dark. God bless everybody. Have a great night. I have to have a safe journey here, and I'm on 63 South, so I'll get in late tonight in the wee hours of the early morning, and you know, I guess the fight starts on Monday at my hall, and hopefully I can file a grievance and get restored at least. I'm going to go back to work as fast as possible, but I really got cheated on this one, and not just cheated, but abused. And I don't want to see that happen to my other fellow brothers and sisters. I do feel extremely bad for that old retired pipe fitter. And I know people don't know a lot about unions, but retired members who come back to work lose all their rights. They don't get even vote in the union. When you're on a job without a job steward, you know, and you see some guy leaning on, they got fucking aluminum scaffold pieces propped up for elbow wrestling. You know these guys are going to be effed up in a day. I'm 45, and my hip, my knee was feeling it. You know, and my elbow swollen. On one day, one 12-hour shift, and you think, you know, and that superintendent going after me and threatening me to ban me from Syncrude forever. I can do this to you. You filed me. I'll do that. I have no job steward representation. You know what I did? I just go like this. I pointed at the grating right on the floor we're standing on at the trailers where he has this nice office. And I said, how about you lay down on there? Rest your elbow and your hips and your body on that grating. Just the grating. Never mind the horrific conditions up there. And you lie on there. And I want you to lie there for 12 hours. Put your weight on your elbow. Hold up your head. Wear your hard hat. And I want you to stretch out your arm. And I want you to do that for 12 hours. Flip back and forth for 12 hours. And don't you stop. Don't you fucking stop. Right away it was, get the fuck out of here. Nah, nah, nah. You know, whatever, buddy. You show me. That's what you're doing to us. You show me. And it was worse, guys. Worse. Big metal valve. We're talking 1,500 pounds. I know, friends and followers, largely you don't understand what I'm talking about. But this is a thick, heavy metal. Put your body on that. Put your hips into that. Cripple you up inside of 3 or 4 days. And they're going to make these guys hammer on that for 12 shifts straight. You know, no give a fuck. And I'm sure Syncrude will take care of it in the next day or so, right? And I'm glad the boys will get it. I got fired for it. But it's pathetic. You know what I mean? Pathetic. And these guys, these Mason ring-wearing pieces of shit, call themselves union. They talk about, oh, where was my job steward? Where was my trade representation? I get a bullshit slip lied to by the company for the pipe fitters, right? I'm not a pipe fitter. In fact, they've had me banned illegally right across Canada. Horrific abuse. And then I gotta go to site and be abused astronomically. I'm 45 years old, top of my trade, at the highest level of skills I'm going to have, you know, and I proved it there. Exquisite welding. And I mean, to the credit of the other guys too. You know, I looked at it. You look. Great guys, you know, but they're going to break them all down. They have no choice but to comply. No job steward, no nothing. Just a ring-wearing, fat whiskey drinking alcoholic that doesn't give a shit. And he's a buddy's buddy. You know, pathetic. And the union's got to address this stuff. I don't care what they do to me or what they go forward with. I have a life to go through here. I'm on an adventure, and I believe in doing the right thing. And I'll investigate all this left side of the spectrum, learn it, and I'm going to learn it, folks. So, I do it for everybody, union, non-union, it doesn't matter. It's to learn the whole system. God bless everybody. I'm going to get back to my drive here because it's dark, it's late, and I am tired. I don't want to end up in an accident. Bye now. Love you all. Bye now.